What does being a music producer in 2026 look like for you? Let's stop right there, answer that question, drop it in the comments. What does being a music producer in 2026 look like for you? All right, so for those of you that don't know me and you're just bumping up on me for the first time, my name is DeShawn Hendrickson. I go by DeShawnBigD or Big D. I'm a music producer. I've worked with a lot of people, most on the independent music side, but I do music, man, and I do all of the things that come along with music because I think I answer that question quite a bit just in the way that I maneuver in my day-to-day. So I've been talking to a lot of people, a lot of producers, a lot of people that work in the industry, and the question has been kind of bubbling around regarding how different being a producer in 2026 is from how it was years ago. Times are different, music is different, budgets are definitely different, payouts are different, the way we consume is different. All of the things that we all know is different, right? And the smart ones know how to adapt. The ones that fight the current get stuck in a rut and then question how time is just passing them by and they're not getting by. And it just brings the question back around all the time of what is a producer in 2026, what needs to happen to sustain in 2026 as opposed to how it was back in the day, back in the golden days. You probably heard of the golden days back in the 90s when, you know, you could have one song that hits and that changes your whole family tree for generations. Times are different, man. Times are different. So there are a couple different levels of music production, right? There's the upper echelon, that's like the 1%, the one that's like the super producers, right? All these dope producers that are out here really like, they're on everybody's major records and then they're doing their thing, right? Big ups and shout outs to them. And then there's a level right below that. We do a lot of the music, a lot of the independent stuff, but yet still we do some other stuff and dabble as well. Now the top level, they do a lot of the other stuff as well, right? And by the other stuff, I mean like other verticals that go along music, right? So for myself, I have a multimedia and production company, so we do live events. When I say we do, I mean like we produce it from a technical perspective, right? You do a lot of live events, live streaming support. We do all of the things that go alongside it, right? Because I understand that being a producer nowadays comes with a responsibility to working with artists more than just getting into the studio with an artist, producing them and then sending them about their way, right? I'm one of those guys that are very hands-on. If you work with me, you know that I don't want to just lay down some keys, program some drums, help you write your song, and then send you about your way. For me, it's all about like how do we creatively structure what we're doing so that we're in it from beginning to end. And to end, I mean to the end of the lifeline of that project, even though projects could be infinite for the foreseeable future. So for instance, I'm working on a handful of projects right now, and all of the artists that I'm working with, we have an understanding that, you know, if they're going out, they're going to reach out for support. If they're going out, meaning if they're going out on the road, if they're going to be doing shows or anything like that, they'll reach out and we'll help them in some way, shape or form, because I have the infrastructure to do that, right? Whether it's live streaming, whether it's doing live sound, whether it's adding any type of value, right? We're going to help out as much as we can. Why? Because ultimately what happens is everything always ties back to the song, right? The song is always the thing. So value is the main thing that you'll hear about for the most part here, adding value, because value is what makes people see, well, I miss this person. I miss what they bring to the table. And the minute you start to hear that, then you know that person is of value. And I like to consider myself a very valuable asset, a very valuable team player to all the artists that I'm working with. So you just need to figure out, how do you stand out beyond the beats, right? What can you bring to the table that are just not beat driven? Because, man, like I tell you, man, streaming is not it nowadays, man. Streaming could get you there, but you still would require an artist that streams extremely well, and you must have the right deal in place, right? So that you can sustain. So there's other ways to do it, right? Live events. Live is still a thing, people. People are kind of dismissing live shows and stuff like that, but live is still a thing. And if you're smart as a producer and you work it out with the artist and you structure so that you can present and provide some type of value when they go out on the road, when they do live shows, when they do local shows in the neighborhood, in town, and you can make yourself available and you sit with them early on and you let them know, listen, how can I help you out so that we both could benefit from this whole thing? Because you're going to be singing our songs on these shows. You're going to be singing our songs when you go live. So how could I benefit from that, as well as benefiting from the streaming? If you're getting radio play, the radio plays. Of course, if you do your structure right with your deal with the artist, you will be getting publishing on the back end. From an independent standpoint, you should be getting master royalties, master points on the song as well. So you just need to be able to really understand what you're asking for and have a really smart, detailed conversation, just so you're not leaving anything on the table, but also just to make sure that you are showing the artist that you are of service and that you are able to provide value. All right. Now everybody's up in arms about the whole AI music creation, Suno, and all these other platforms that are able to do music, and that's a real thing. That is a real thing to really be concerned about, because an artist nowadays could say, let me just jump in Suno, drop some lyrics in there, drop some vibes in there, do some dope prompting, and then it give them exactly. I mean, these platforms today, people, these platforms are spitting out some dope stuff, man. Trust me, I've heard it. I'm a little concerned, but I'm not concerned because I'm so woven into the fabric of the artist that I'm working with. Because for me, again, that word again is going to come around, value, because I provide so much of it that AI cannot provide what I provide. Yes, it could give good ideas. Yes, you could prompt it, get good results, and that could be that's valuable in itself. But AI cannot be boots on the ground. AI cannot say, hey, let me work this door. Hey, let me be on site with you so that I could help organize something so that you don't have to worry about it, so that you could give the best performance possible, so that it could bring attention back to the song. Again, the song is always the central thing, right? That's what's holding us together. That's our baby. We share this here together. So anything we can do to make sure we feed this baby of ours, that's what we're willing to do. So AI, man, is not going anywhere. How do you work around it, right? How do you compete with it? Because it's hard to compete with it. The way you do that is to just make yourself indispensable. All right? Make yourself indispensable, because AI is not going anywhere. It's a 2026 and beyond thing that we will have to work alongside with. So let's work alongside it. Try to use it for yourself. Use it to prompt. Use it to get some ideas even. You know what I mean? Use it to get some ideas, man. I mean, it's there. Use it. But it shouldn't be a replacement for what we're doing, because we bring a human element to this whole thing that it'll never bring. So let's work with it. So another thing to consider in 2026 and beyond is just making sure you talk about your business early and often with the artist, man. Like in 2026, man, I think full partnerships on projects, that's the wave to be moving in 2026. Maybe that may mean taking less upfront. Maybe that may mean taking a smaller fee so that the artist could put those fees into marketing, into promotions, into ways to move the project forward. And then that may mean you actually go in on, like, say, a 50-50 split on everything. There's no right or wrong way to approach this subject. There's no right or wrong number with regards to percentages. All that matters, and the only right way, is the way that you agree on. If the artist gives you a large upfront, you can't expect anything crazy on the back end. You'll expect something, specifically on the publishing side. But on the master side, you have to work that in based on what they're giving you. It all depends on the conversation that you're having and that you have to really make sure that you could kind of present your case and present your points. But not only that, but make sure that you live by what you say you're going to do, right? So creative structuring, creative conversations, full partnerships. Partnerships is the main thing. That's the main thing, right? Because again, I'm a fan of, let's allocate as much budget as we can to get this thing out. Maybe we throw a dope release party somewhere, intimate release party, and we invite people to come, the movers and shakers in the city that could have some influence in pushing the music out, right? And you save some of the budget and you put it there because you see bigger picture, right? You see a few steps down the road, not just what's happening right now. So something to think about. Again, be very creative, man. It's 2026 and everybody's kind of figuring out ways to do this that make sense. Another simple way that you can bring a lot of value to an artist in 2026 as a producer is to help them with their campaigns social media wise, right? Create a ton of content for them, with them, about them, and then figure out and work out with them, how do you share this content together? How do you collab on this content together? That's something that's very valuable that again leads right back to the song, which is the baby, right? And once you start to present something like that to an artist, right, that could all be a part of the partnership that you put together, right? That could be all part of, hey, I'm willing to invest in creating some content, whether you do it yourself, whether you pay to do it, because remember, at the end of the day, it's in your best interest as a producer to create a ton of content too. You want to highlight the song to your base, your followers, your family that's following your journey and subscribe to what you have going on, and you want to point them over to this song, ultimately the artist, but their song. And then the artist does the same thing. The artist creates a ton of content, points them to you, tags you, points them ultimately to the song. And then you guys want to come together and do content together in a joint way, where you're in the same room together, where you doing some Zoom meetings and you recording that and then you blasting it out and you're just figuring out some ways to do it. Value is the main thing. In case you haven't heard the theme of this whole thing, right? The way you become a dope producer in 2026 is to add as much value as you can. Be creative. There's no blueprint to how creativity works. If you think really far outside the box and you dig really deep, you could come up with some amazing stuff, right? So add as much value as you can, because value is the one thing that, again, AI can never beat, right? Value is the one thing that people will always feel and see and touch. You could feel value. You could feel somebody as valuable. You could see somebody as valuable, right? Their vibe. You could just feel the vibe. You could feel what they bring to the table. You could feel energy shift when they walk into a room and stuff starts to happen. That's value. I do that very well because I walk into a room, specifically when we're helping out on shows and stuff, and I see things very differently because I've been doing it for a long time. So I just get in there, and especially because I would have already spoken to the artist and I would say, listen, when I come up in there, just don't mind if I start to just move stuff around and start to take more control, because I see things a little bit different, right? Those people are indispensable. Those people artists want to work with. So what happens to me now is artists are reaching out to me to work because they know that it's not just about the music for me. It's about the entire process, the entire project. It's about getting the entire song out and getting it as much legs as possible so that it could touch as much people as possible. More than just creating it, but what do we do after it's created, right? So the call to action for all producers in 2026 is to partner deeply, think creatively, stay relevant, and provide as much value as possible. I wish I could have give you a 5, but right now we're just picking off the top and I don't have a 5th. But if we follow that blueprint, as simple as it may be, I have the 5th one. The 5th one is create dope music. That's a very important one. That still is the center of the whole thing. Like, understand the craft, right? We didn't talk about that much in this blog, but it's an understanding that if you're at this level, you are making dope music, but that's still something that we have to highlight. Make dope music, right? And learn your craft. If you follow those steps, man, and you follow that blueprint, you will be able to be successful as a producer in 2026 and beyond. That's just how it is, right? That's just how it is. All right. So I'm still curious, man. Drop a comment if you haven't done so yet. If you stayed all the way until the end watching me rant about this whole thing, man, because I'm very passionate about artists and producers and how they work together in 2026. And like, I'm very intrigued about the psychology about it, right? I ask a lot of artists that I'm working with, what exactly do you see right now that's different from how you came up back in the game, specifically for like older artists or artists that came up in the mid 90s, even in the early 2000s, right? What do you see now? How do you see things shifting? What would you like to see from producers? What do you don't like about producers? What exactly is the thing that you think could make the creative process of an overall project, not just one song, but the overall project? What do you see that could help move that along from your perspective, right? So I'm very intrigued about that. So if you're an artist, if you're a producer, if you watch this all the way to the end, drop a comment here, man. I would love to hear what you all think. If any of this stuff is relevant to you, if any of this stuff doesn't make sense, do you agree? Do you not agree? Let's dialogue about it, man. There's no right or wrong answer here. So let's chat about it. And thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for tuning in. Stay up. Try to post as regularly as I can. Sometimes I miss the mark, but hey, that's all good, man. We working. All right. One love, fam. Be great. Let's go. All right, fam. So I appreciate you for taking a few minutes to rock with your boy, man. If you're liking this kind of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest uploads. And if you really want to go deeper, head over to DeShawnBigD.com to follow along with all the latest and the greatest stuff that your boy have happening. And if you like what you're seeing over there, sign up to the mailing list to really keep up to date.